Hello, in this video I would like to talk about the Chinese Taoist sexual kung fu, which is basically a way how to use sexual energy a little bit differently than just having a regular orgasm. This is a practice that was developed by a Chinese emperor. His name was Yellow Emperor. He lived number of thousand years ago. And his the way how he developed this practice was that if somebody came to give him teachings, they would put that person through a test. They would give that person a glass of wine, and he had to put his penis inside the glass and suck up the wine and then pee it back into the glass. If he could do it, the emperor, the Yellow Emperor, would listen to his teachings. And he put together this sexual kung fu, this sexual practice that he had 600 wives, had sex with all of them, but never had a regular orgasm on purpose because he was practicing these sexual techniques. But many Chinese thinks that he was an alien because he lived 150 years and he was the emperor for 100 years. Now, the Chinese history is very well documented, so this is not just a myth. He really lived 150 years and he really was the Chinese emperor for 100 years. So what he was actually doing, he practiced the Taoist Qigong meditation, the microcosmic orbit, which I explained in the last video, how they rotate the energy down and up the spine and through the head and back down again. They also touch the tongue on the top of the roof. And what this emperor did, he would have an intercourse with a woman, and just before he would have orgasm, he would stop himself by squeezing the muscles in the perineum, and it would help him not to ejaculate, not to have orgasm. And then in the lower tangen, which is Korean say tangen, the lower tangen, which is energy center in the belly button area, he would draw the sexual energy, because that's the sexual center also. He would draw the sexual energy into the microcosmic orbit and start rotating the sexual energy throughout the microcosmic orbit, up his spine, through his head, and down. So what he was doing, he was rejuvenating all his organs in his body with the sexual energy, instead of just having a regular orgasm and blowing the sexual energy out. Uh, Men get drained by orgasms. That's why men has one orgasm and cannot keep going, because completely lost energy and goes to sleep. It needs recovery time. Women, on the other hand, are much sexually superior towards men because they can have multiple orgasms. They don't lose energy through orgasm like men do. But women lose energy during menstruation. So that's why they get very moody, tired, and etc., because they are losing energy. So there is some differences between men and women when it comes down to the sexual kung fu, when it comes down to sex. Why the differences are, I do not know, because men and women supposed to be two equal opposites, like the yin and yang, plus minus, north and south pole. So in this case, and when it comes down to the sexuality, it's not the same. But so this is how the Taoists use their sexuality or sexual kung fu sexual energy, and they are claiming that by practicing this, in time one can develop a so-called inner orgasm that it's just as good as the regular one, and keep rotating this sexual energy to keep rejuvenating all the organs in the body, and they can apparently live much longer than anybody else. Now, for example, Buddhist monks, not all of them, but in many countries, are not even allowed to touch women or be touched by women, completely abstain from sex because they are claiming that it's draining them on energy and they will die much sooner. Which I agree that it drains them on energy, but if they are abstaining from sex, how come these Buddhist monks are not living 100 or 150 years? They live just as long as anybody else. So does it really make complete sense to obtain or stay away from sex? Doesn't really make sense if is it only because one drains his energy. But what it makes sense to, if one wants to practice this kung fu and rotate the sexual energy in the microcosmic orbit, well, the Chinese emperor proved that it can rejuvenate the body and live much longer. Also, the tantric sex, which comes from India, can be very similar to the Taoist sexual kung fu. To my knowledge, the only difference is between the Taoist way and the tantric way, which is from India meditation. It's part of the Kama Sutra. So what they do in the tantric practice, they draw the energy from the sexual center and then they rotate it through the perineum, up the spine, in the top of the head, and then they connect with each other. The men and the women connect with each other above their heads with the crowns. So that's, to my understanding, is the differences between these two practices. Tao rotates it in the microcosmic orbit, and the tantric sex people, they draw it into the crown and connect with each other with the crowns. So that's it for today. If anybody interested, Mentek Chia, Taoist master, has many books. This one about the sexual kung fu calls Cultivating Male Sexual Energy. Very interesting book. I'm sure you can buy it online. So please subscribe to my channel. I will be talking about many other topics, and please watch my previous videos. I'll explain many other things over there already, and I hope I see you soon again. Bye.